So, here we are again. And hopefully we'll be able to get past the opening screen today. Even though it's a very nice and atmospheric looking opening screen. Let's have a look here. We have is this a boat perhaps? Of course, a lighthouse. Some lightning clouds in the background. And I'm not sure what this is. But perhaps we will find out. Evidently, this is not London, but perhaps we'll start out the game in London. So why don't we see how this goes? Yes, this looks like London. The shadow over London. So, definitely London. Yes. And Baker Street. And the next will probably be Sherlock Holmes or Dr. Watson, I presume.
Dr. Watson, would you kindly close the door behind you so that we can limit the price of your carelessness to merely hours of work rather than days?
My apologies, Mr. Holmes. I found myself rather taken aback. I saw tidier houses in war-torn Afghanistan. Are those my surgical needles?
I ran out of tacks and the matter required immediate attention.
Was that my supper?
Plainly not, for I was the one who ate it.
I set it aside for this evening.
And for that I am grateful.
Is that my bed?
Watson, since you've proven yourself a master of observation, might I ask you to apply your skills to a more pertinent question? Namely, the whereabouts of today's newspapers. They are the key to everything. The newsboy is usually reliable.
Medically speaking, I often find that the key to everything is good sleep. In a bed. Your papers are here, on the table.
Let us see what the postman brought today.
Okay, so here we are, and we have our office in Baker Street, and Watson over here. So I saw this interesting video on YouTube the other day about Baker Street, and apparently the street number where Sherlock Holmes lives did not exist at the time of the book being written. So of course you can go to the address now today, and there's a building there, but this is a building that was built after the book was written. And let's take a look here. So we have the not so tidy room of Mr. Sherlock Holmes. We have his notes, not his notes, his whatchamacallit, sheet of music. And here we have a telescope. You can look into the window of his neighbors. Here we have can we interact with this? No. Can we interact with this? No. We can kick it over though. Here we have a map. And for those that might be watching this after having watched or rather listened to my previous video, And this is the sort of thing I was thinking of creating while playing some of these games, but just for sake of amusement, to see if there's any actual benefit from taking this approach to trying to solve a puzzle, murder mystery while playing the game, or in case of a movie or television episode while watching it.
This mess is getting out of hand. What will the landlady think?
Yes.
Most of us put our thoughts to paper, not to walls, Mr. Holmes.
I suspect that perhaps I don't see any sort of indication of when there's something to interact with, so I think that might perhaps be because I turned up the difficulty level of the game when I configured it, so...
I'm close, I know it. I just need one more piece to crack the case.
Yes. You'll have to be extra careful while looking around here, since we don't appear to have any hints to talk about. Okay. Scandinavian prince's personal bodyguard visited London during his spare time, but never returned from his late night promenade. The police is currently conducting his search. We can zoom in a little bit. The London Advertiser, September 28th, 1882. Tensions between England and Sweden are running high after a series of unfortunate mishaps during a recent visit to London by Swedish Princess Hildur. Chief among these scandals was the embarrassment of the British diplomatic corps as a result of the unexplained disappearance of Princess Hildur's personal bodyguard. The long-time member of her inner circle took the opportunity to explore London while off duty and never returned from his late-night promenade. A spokesman for the police assures the Advertiser that they are confident the bodyguard will be located, as he is a striking representative of the Scandinavian people. A man like that gets noticed, whether by his peers at the Gentlemen's Club or the fair nightingales who comfort them. Okay.
Local gossip, all of it uninteresting.
This is book.
Your order from Barnes' bookshop has arrived, Doctor.
Barnes insists on delivering the books to our door, even though we could easily walk to his shop. That's good service.
And we have the remains of Dr. Watton's dinner and a letter. Yes.
Another letter from Werner. I never reply, but they keep coming.
Yes.
I don't see the Strand. Where is it?
Pardon me?
I am on the precipice of uncovering a pattern of crime across London spanning many months and involving many men. The missing paper cannot be a coincidence.
That's preposterous.
My dear fellow, life is infinitely stranger than anything which the mind of man can invent.
Well, life used your newspaper to wipe its posterior, so after that unpleasant discovery this morning, I disposed of it. But in lieu of the Strand, perhaps I can deliver you something equally tantalizing. I have just returned from a patient of mine, Captain Stemwick, who...
No, that will not do. Grab your coat, Dr. Watson. Let us hope nobody has collected the dustbin.
Okay, and the Strand, if I remember correctly, is where the stories of Sherlock Holmes were printed.
The dustbin is yours for the digging, Mr. Holmes.
Perhaps I remembered it incorrectly. Could be. Let's just walk around a little bit longer and make sure that we have examined everything that there is to examine. Okay. Yeah, the corridor. Some nice country pictures on the wall. And it's 12 o'clock on the hour. Okay, nothing interesting here. See, there's a horse down the street.
Don't look at me. If you want the newspaper, you'll have to get your hands dirty.
Okay. There we have a picture of a tree, a house, farmhouse perhaps. Yes, there is. Why not dress more appropriate for the weather? Open the casebook with C. Okay. Okay, so here we have okay, so he has various dress options. Of course, we'll go with this one. This looks silly. Nah. Okay, we can dress Mr. Watson also. No makeup. Why did they make Sherlock so pretty? Indeed. So we can look a little bit beaten up. Yes, doesn't this look... this is, I suppose, meant to look like the Sherlock TV series character, I guess. I think I'll give it this sort of classic look. Hat. No. The Strand is missing. Watson brought in the morning's post, but the Strand is missing. He disposed of it before entering the building because the pages were soiled. There's still a chance it might be found in the dustbin. A book from Barnes. Among our morning deliveries is a book for Watson. It was from Mr. Barnes, the bookseller, who prefers to do deliveries himself. Attached to the book is Barnes' business card, which includes the address of his store just around the corner. And then we have this London Advertiser article. I have no idea what this is. This is not interactive with perhaps. Let's see if we can go outside now. I didn't wear the hat it wanted me to wear, so we'll have to see if Mr. Sherlock Holmes gets wet or too wet when he goes outside. He doesn't want to let me. Okay. So it did let me go outside. 221B Baker Street. Okay. And here we have 1880s London streets. And okay, this is the Strand. It looks somewhat soiled, yes.
You were mistaken, Dr. Watson. The paper was indeed dirtied, but not how you implied. It's potting soil.
Potting soil, eh? Is there something more here? Yes.
A cactus spine. If it gets in your skin, it's awfully tricky to remove, and when laced with poison, the perfect assassination tool. See, Watson? The conspiracy is real. Someone tried to poison me.
Poison? You? That's madness.
Okay, so now what do we do? I guess we can
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
Okay, we'll pick up a copy of the Strand. Hello there, young sir.
Sorry, Mr. Holmes. I just sold my last paper.
Hey.
Blast. Then why are you still here?
Boss pays by the hour. No sense in returning early.
You're a bright child. I presume you see everything that goes on around here?
Nothing gets past me, mister.
Then tell me, did you notice anyone suspicious at my door this morning?
Like the man with your newspaper?
Precisely. What do you know?
I know the value of a shilling.
Dr. Watson?
Sure, now I can take the day off.
So, let's see now. Tell me about the man at the
Can you
doorstep.
describe the man you saw?
He was carrying a lot of books. Up to his chin they were.
Never heard of a well-read assassin.
Looks can deceive. Hence the appeal of disguises.
What did you do to the
Did you see
paper?
what he was up to?
Nah, not really. I saw him approaching your house, but I had a customer. Then there's a loud bang. I ducked down. Not because I was scared, because I wasn't. I had to protect the merchandise. And all I could see was him kneeling at your door.
Which way did he go?
Not sure. I was distracted by customers. Sorry.
So
All
it
right.
isn't.
You earned your shilling. That'll be all.
Thanks, Mr. Holmes. Maybe I could be your eyes and ears. If you have more shillings.
Okay, you got a new question in your mind palace.
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand
Okay.
here.
So, like the TV series, we have sort of mind palace thingy. Okay, how does this work? Book from Barnes. I think perhaps the newsboys said the suspicious man was carrying a stack of books, and this morning Mr. Barnes, the local bookseller, delivered a novel for Dr. Watson. A Cactus spine for assassination, a loud bang, a visitor to Mr. Barnes is in order. A visit to Mr. Barnes is in order. Okay, this is slightly different from the sort of Mind Palace in the Sherlock TV series. I guess they have to gamify this sort of mental process in some sort of way, and I guess this is good enough. We'll see how it works as we go along, I guess. From Barnes, the Strand is missing.
Come now, Mr. Holmes. Murder? Yes, Barnes has his quirks, but he also has his scruples.
Not
Get
every
the
pawn
Strand.
knows it's
Get
part
your
of a
copy
game.
of the Strand here.
So this boy still is pretending to sell
Get
the
Strand.
newspaper.
Get your copy of the Strand here.
But I must say that, well, while he claimed to be very observant, he also said that he didn't
Get the
notice
Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
anything at the end there because he was busy with his customers. So I'm not sure if his services as an
Get the
observer
Strand.
is
Get your copy of the Strand here.
if his services are that valuable. Yeah, we'll have to see, I guess. Hello, Mr. Horse. How are you doing today?
Do you even have enemies that would want to kill you? Okay, perhaps from Cordona.
There, wagon, some vegetables.
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the.
Okay, so we have Baker Street. Okay, here we have Baker Street, and then we have this bookstore. Okay, here we have the book, and just around the corner. Barnes bookseller.
Strand here.
I guess we'll walk around a little bit, see if we can find it.
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
How about that Vogel fellow? He seems rather obsessed with you. Would he do something like this?
You can pin evidence or quick access to information from your case book. Okay, that's X. Okay, so we can have it on the right side there. Still, it says Barnes bookseller at the door, so it can't be that difficult to find. So we walk along. Okay, wagon. And here we are at the end of the road. We have one person digging and one person watching the other person digging, so quite a high level of efficiency in this public works program, I see. Usually there are 8 people watching and 1 person digging, so quite impressive. Lock and key shop, so that's not a bookstore. Lots of suspicious looking people just hanging around there.
May I ask you something?
No, sir, I've never heard of it.
Okay. Okay, so he probably asked about the bookstore. The best head in town. Get it at Lucky's bar. Okay, well.
Can I ask you a question?
No, sir, I've never heard of it.
So, I guess he doesn't read books.
I'll stand watch, just in case the strange man comes back.
Oh, that's certainly a relief.
Why don't you give me another shilling now? Because I'm sure I'll spot something else soon. No?
And this is Magistrate's Court. So it seems like there are lots of things located very short distance from Mr. Holmes' residence, which I assume is convenient. And here we have another street.
Can I ask you a question?
No, I don't know anything about that.
Here we have another horse. Police. So this is a police wagon. This is it's the barber shop. The sound there seemed to indicate that we had there it is. There it is. Let's unpin this. And unpin this. Let's continue to look around a little bit before we go and visit the bookstore. Of course, you can understand why the bookstore owner is willing to deliver his books by hand. I mean, it's not even 1 minute walk from his store to the residence of Sherlock Holmes. So, another person just hanging around the street here. And here we have a cobbler. Any size for every foot. Okay, so this street is also closed off. What is he doing? Out in the street? Disgraceful. You have a little park. Nice. So there's Bar's bookstore. So we have okay, now we are here. Arthur Ignatius Conan Doyle. Well, sort of not sure if it's appropriate or inappropriate. I mean, he wouldn't exist inside the world of Sherlock Holmes now, would he? Oh, never mind. Here we have food. And I went back at the locksmith. Okay, so let's go and visit Mr. Barnes. Barnes and Noble. Barnes and Noble Barnes, perhaps? 2 books for the price of 1. New books in the store. Charles Dickens, Mr. Gogot, Edgar Allan Poe. Okay, too quick.
Why go through all this scheming to murder you? A spine stuck to the newspaper is hardly lethal.
Okay,
A ruined newspaper is hardly the end of the world. We can always buy another. A ruined newspaper is hardly the end of the world. We can always buy another.
Is Watson that's contributing this commentary, I presume. This is Mr. Barnes, probably. Observe. Okay. Bags under eyes. Effects of overwork. Okay, this looks somewhat odd. Ink. Okay, that's ink. Leans heavily on his right leg. High heels. Mr. Barnes has developed a limp and has large bags under his eyes, the result of long hours of intense work. He's not very confident and tries to appear tall by wearing high heels. It seems unlikely that such a person would be involved in a murder plot, even if the ink on his hand suggests that he's the one who soiled the newspaper. Nevertheless, Mr. Barnes could still be a pawn in a bigger plan without his knowledge. And, okay.
Mr. Barnes, a word. Oh, for goodness sake.
Who goes there?
Sherlock Holmes. Now will you please...
Mr. Holmes. Golly, I did not see you come in.
Would you care to answer some questions for me?
Well, I wish I could, but I am deep in the weeds with work. How about we reschedule in a month or two?
Come now, Mr. Barnes. It will only take a moment.
No, really deep in the weeds with important things. Well, help yourself to any book. Just take it and pay later. I trust you, Mr. Holmes.
Barnes doesn't seem like himself. Why is he acting this way?
You're asking the right questions, Doctor. Let's find a way to coax him out.
Yeah, so, some strange sounds from inside his room. Oh no, hey, that's a little doggy. Hello, doggy.
So, Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy? So, Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy?
Barnes has always been a little odd, but this is uncharacteristic even for him.
Apologies, but I can't hear you. Please come back later.
Yeah.
The ladder is broken recently, judging by the freshness of the wood.
Yeah.
The ladder is broken recently, judging by the freshness of the wood. I could hardly imagine anything more macabre.
Yes, what is this? It looks somewhat somber. Okay.
Basics of cryptoanalysis, cryptography in Egypt. It appears Barnes has an interesting hobby.
Yes. Exotic plants catalog. A catalog of exotic plants on Barnes counter. The name of the catalog reads Everlasting Plants for an Everlasting Love. So of course in the if you are to assume that Mr. Barnes was trying to poison Sherlock Holmes, it could be that he was searching for some exotic poison. Makes somewhat sense, I guess. So.
The finest view London has to offer. An improvised stand, but it does make the flowers more visible. In the language of Mycroft's secret agents, it's a sign. Dried flowers are replaced when the job is done. I wonder who the recipient is.
Yeah. Okay, looks like we found everything worth finding here.
We're looking for a cactus needle in a haystack. A spine in a book stack? No, come on, Watson, think.
And this also looks somewhat suspicious.
I like bookshops. One of the few spots in London where you are shunned for making a racket. Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
Yeah, and this okay, so now we've been through most of the place. So, who ruined the Strand? The Barnes, the local bookseller, ruined the newspaper. Why is Barnes acting so strangely? And Barnes broken leather. Still not certain I understand how this works, but dead flowers on display. Am I supposed to use some sort of logic here, or is it just is it just experimenting? Broken leather. So these two would appear to be related. I don't think that one belongs. So dead flowers on display, and Barnes being involved would seem to be relevant. And then we have perhaps dead flowers, Mr. Barnes being involved, and then there would have to be this doesn't seem relevant. No, this also doesn't really seem relevant. Newsboys' testimonies, or was it related to that? Mr. Barnes being involved with... okay, this... Can we remove this one? In evidence. Is it slightly more complicated, perhaps? So there are two of these here. Presumably there would be two. So we have the plants catalog. Yeah, this doesn't seem relevant. Why is Barnes acting so strangely? So, Mr. Barnes being involved in the scheme would seem... can I remove this one? And... then... need one more? No. Items, observations. Could of course be that I'm missing something. Let's have why Barnes ruined the newspaper. Why is Mr. Barnes acting so strangely? And okay. Let's try to look around a little bit more.
I could hardly imagine anything more macabre.
See if we missed anything. We seem to have gotten everything here.
Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight? Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
Yes, in which case... could be somewhere in plain sight, I guess. Doesn't appear to be anything here.
So, Barnes has a dog now. Who's a good boy?
Okay, we have this Superman vision also. Can we see anything else of interest, perhaps? No, not. Does not seem so. No.
Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
Yes. And I'm regretting it already. Nothing here either. What about this lady outside? Perhaps she should go and have a talk with her. See what she can tell us.
The weather is dreary, isn't it? To be fair, my flowers could use the rainfall.
Okay. Do we have something that we can present her with?
I should have worn something warmer.
Hello
People
there.
don't tend to come out
What's
with
your
flowers
name?
when it rains. Lily. I know, not very original. Have a look at my flowers. They will not bite unless you touch their thorns.
Okay, so there's something here also.
Encouraging people to stop and smell the roses?
Our national emblem. God save the Queen.
It must take patience and care to produce a bloom so beautiful.
I imagine so. I merely sell them.
Okay,
Familiar spine? Is this what I found in my dustbin? Familiar spine? Is this what I found in my dustbin?
okay, in which case, do we still have it on us? Roses, okay, let's do something we haven't found.
Encouraging people to stop and smell the roses?
Okay, that's Cactus. No, what could... no, that one we already looked at.
It must take patience and care to produce a bloom so beautiful.
Perhaps there's still something here we haven't spotted.
The pot is damaged. The blow was severe, but softened by something.
Okay, so this was the sound we heard this morning, or rather what the
Anything to
paperboy
your fancy,
observed.
Mr. Holmes?
Okay, avoids eye contact. Makeup. Honoring deceased husband. Unusual for work attire, luxury fabric. Okay, so she's slightly suspicious. I assume that she's the one who's waiting for whatever signal the bookseller has in his window. So the plant that he has is in his window. Change shoes upon arrival. Okay. Miss Fleming wears a morning boot in memory of her late husband. Her dress is made from an expensive fabric that is not suitable for work. Her shoes show no traces of mud. She must have changed them when she arrived. Her eyes constantly dart around the street, seemingly in search for something. Perhaps she's waiting for someone. While Miss Fleming cherishes the memory of her departed husband, she is trying to move on, as suggested by her makeup and nice outfit. Perhaps she is dressing to attract someone's attention, or simply because she has learned to love herself again. Okay, so this is something I can choose between them. Ready to move on? Okay.
Mrs. Fleming, you look particularly lovely today. Is there a reason?
Does a woman need a reason to look or feel beautiful?
No, but your distant look suggests you seek one man's gaze in particular.
Who told you that?
Nobody. Merely a keen eye and some simple deduction.
Well, I'll kindly ask you to keep your keen eye to yourself, Mr. Holmes.
Okay, so evidence. What sort of evidence could we have that's relevant? This one, perhaps?
Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller.
Hmm. Yeah. Where is this for sale?
What do you make of the flowers in Barnes' shop window?
Well, they could use a bit of water.
Do they mean anything to you?
Mean anything how? I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Holmes.
Why do you think they're there?
Are you suggesting the flowers are for me?
It seems likely, does it not?
Oh, I hope you're right.
Okay. Mr. Fleming says she knows nothing about the dead flowers, but hopes the bouquet is for her. Yes, this one.
One of these things is not like the other.
Come again?
The cactus. Those fearsome spines can prove a devil to remove, and the sap is often toxic.
And a rose thorn can give you tetanus, but we still grow them. The cactus seems comparatively harmless, though you have me thinking it must be valuable.
I was under the impression that you knew its price already.
Your guess is as good as mine. The first time I saw this cactus was when I came back from my break.
Okay, so Mr. Fleming claims she doesn't know how the cactus appeared on her display. She went for a break and when she came back it was there. Well, that's certainly interesting.
I'm afraid I can't help with that, Mr. Holmes. I don't know anything about this, sorry.
Okay, so that's
I'll be off.
all this moment, I think.
Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
Yes. And now let's try to visit our memory palace or whatever again. And do we have some more dead flowers on display? Let's try this new one. Can we use this one in some way? Cactus in a cracked pot. We had. I don't think this one. This one seemed to be related, but. No. Okay, that one didn't want to get connected. I've seen that Barnes is involved, but certain I understand how this is supposed to work. Is it merely that I'm missing some information? Let's assume so and go back here. We can... okay, there are more people here, perhaps we can talk to some of them.
Excuse me, just one question.
I can't help you with that, sir.
Okay, but what if we ask him about something else?
Excuse me, just one question.
I can't help you with that, sir.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question?
It's a shame, but I can't help you.
Yes, it's a shame.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Excuse me, what? I'm not sure I know.
Okay, it wasn't very helpful. What about this fellow, perhaps?
May I ask for your assistance?
I don't think anyone here knows the answer. You should ask someone else.
Yes, what else do we have? Mr. Barnes, perhaps?
Could you help me?
Sorry, sir, I can't help you.
Didn't you once tell me that answers usually lie in plain sight?
Let's try to ask this lady about Mr. Barnes.
Are you sure you're asking the right person? I'm just a flower seller.
Are you familiar with Mr. Barnes?
Yes. No, not really. Well, in a way.
What on earth does that mean?
I know who he is, of course. But we haven't shared much more than a look.
A look?
Yes. Each morning I go for a walk in the park with my dog. And most days I spot Mr. Barnes there with his new puppy. So we see each other. Actually, we once met briefly while our dogs played. He was quiet and seemed unsteady as he approached. But since then, we've never spoken. I often see him staring through the shop window. Sometimes I wonder what he thinks about that would etch such longing onto his face.
Well, that was interesting. Is there something else we can ask him about, perhaps? Let's try to go back in the bookstore. There's something else here. Barnes displays a bouquet of dead flowers to attract the attention of Mr. Fleming, a florist. He may hope she will come into his shop and give him watering advice, or it could simply be a symbol of his desperation. Barnes anonymously gifted her a cactus, which she ordered from the catalogue on his counter. A questionable choice, but for Barnes a symbol of his eternal love, since the catalogue presents these cacti as immortal. Plainly, this is the same cactus he dropped on the Strand outside 221B Baker Street. Now to hear the full story. Okay, so it was just silly.
I think perhaps I have been chasing shadows.
Yes.
Do not despair, Mr. Holmes. Even the best of us make mistakes. We better tell Mr. Barnes what we've learned.
Mr. Barnes, I know what you did, and I know why you did it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes. I can't hear you very well from behind the door.
I couldn't read this morning's edition of The Strand because it was covered in soil and spines. I know you dropped a cactus on it and then fled. You ordered a cactus from the plant catalogue and then left it for Mrs. Fleming as a gift. You place flowers in the window to get her attention and wear high heels to appear taller and more desirable. You are her secret admirer.
Barnes, it's Dr. Watson. Rest assured we are not interested in disclosing your personal affairs to anyone, including Mrs. Fleming. Please come out.
All right, then.
So, you know what happened then? I was on my way back from the post office, having picked up the cactus and some books. It was quite an awkward package, heavy too, and when I got to your door, I dropped the cactus and your paper. Forgive me.
I needed that paper to prove a theory and prevent a crime. Your actions were rather disruptive. Your clumsiness carrying the post is matched only by the clumsiness of your romantic gesture.
Oh, it's true. I am useless with this sort of thing. I'm not even sure if Mrs. Fleming noticed.
Okay, let's try see if we can help Mr. Hopeless here.
As in most things in life, truth is the answer. Cease with the abstruse signals and anonymous gifts, and simply talk to the woman. What is the worst that can happen? She rejects you, and you are freed from this endless purgatory.
That... Yes, you are correct, of course. I do have a slight tendency to overthink things. Thank you.
So at last, we return to the matter of the paper. I'm investigating a string of burglaries. Did you perhaps read of any before the edition was spoiled?
I don't recall, but you're welcome to read our copy for yourself.
You had an issue of the Strand here all along?
Well, naturally. I am a bookseller. I have a subscription to every magazine and newspaper in London.
So you ought to be familiar with the concept of burying the lead.
Oh no, my apologies, Mr. Holmes. I'll make it up to you however I can. I am an expert on obscure languages and translation and
Yes, okay. Just give me the paper.
Okay, so now we finally have our newspaper. Strand, September 28th, 1882. Saltpeter explosion rocks docks. Locals at the port of London had a rude awakening last night with loud bangs and thick red smoke disturbing the peace. Merchant ship Moskva had docked at Pier N3 in the early evening en route to Europe when it was rocked by several concussive explosions. The port authority is yet to comment on the incident, and it's unknown if any crew members were on board at the time. Eyewitnesses report seeing saltpeter leaking into the river. But with this area still off limits to workers and the public, it may be some time before we have a full account of what transpired.
Come, Dr. Watson. Let us put this matter behind us.
Farewell, Mr. Barnes. I hope to hear good news about you and Mrs. Fleming.
Okay, so now we can unpin this one. And yes.
Let me know if there's any way I can make it up to you. Tell you what, tomorrow's edition of The Strand is on me.
That's certainly generous. So let's return to our home.
Well, that was an utter waste of time.
An assassination did seem rather unlikely.
There was supposed to be another burglary. I was certain of it. Something you wish to say, Doctor?
No. Well, only that you have a remarkable faculty for deduction and pattern recognition, and that perhaps, if ill-applied...
I see things that are not there.
Yes. It is London. There will always be burglaries. Doesn't have to mean anything.
So it seems. Forgive me. Without something to occupy my mind, I turn into an entirely different animal.
Which brings us back to my news from earlier. I think I have a case for you, a real one.
Truly?
Indeed. Though perhaps not as thrilling as your stories from Cordona. A patient of mine, Captain Stenwick, told me that his servant disappeared. I said I knew just the man to help. What do you say?
Oh, Watson.
Yes, I know it's not the most tantalizing mystery, nor the story to launch my writing career. But...
It's brilliant. Let's go.
Oh, good. Well, his house is nearby. Come.
Okay, but I think I'll walk back to Baker Street 221B, wasn't it? Get out of the rain a little bit. And that was certainly an exciting start of the game. I think I have understood this this thing here now. It seems like these connections that were actually relevant, once connected, they stayed connected, and the one that was missing, that was didn't fit with any of the information I had, because I was missing some information. So that should make it a little bit simpler to
Get the Strand. Get your copy of the Strand here.
yes, here we are, 221B. So that should make it a little bit simpler to solve the next puzzle when it appears. But here we are, back in our lovely rooms. And here I think I will leave Mr. Sherlock Holmes for this time. And hopefully we will be able to continue his adventures in the not too far future. So, goodbye, and thank you for watching everything, if you actually did so. So, goodbye.